Hey folks, it's Kevin. In this video, we're going to be talking about how San Diego Union Tribune published an article on January 5th, 2021, stating that the San Diego housing market is expected to increase values by 8.3%. Let's get into it. Within this article, real estate analyst CoreLogic said that the price of a single-family home in San Diego County will increase 8.3% from November 2020 to November 2021. That means the median home price of a house in San Diego could be around $776,000 by the end of the year. Now, just to give you guys a little bit of context, last year in 2020, despite all the craziness that went on with COVID, single-family homes actually increased 9.5%. So it's not uncommon for us to see San Diego appreciate at a higher rate than other cities within the United States. But they go on to say that San Diego is just one of those markets that has had a lot of income growth and not enough supply to meet demand, which I agree with. If you look at some of the top job fields here in San Diego, you'll notice that they can sustain despite what's going on right now with all of the health concerns, those being the jobs being biotech, medical, military, international trade with Mexico and China, and hospitality. If you look at those five, the only one that's really being impacted by all of the health concerns is hospitality. Another thing to consider, though, is that with us living in San Diego and being close and bordering Mexico, a lot of the individuals are able to reside in Mexico for a lower cost of living, and they're able to sustain these times because their cost of living isn't so high, being that they're living here in San Diego. So they're able to travel back and forth for work and not be impacted if their hours are cut or if they go into a job loss, and then they can just pivot maybe from a club to a restaurant that's still open, that's doing takeout, or that's doing outdoor dining. They can still sustain, they can still find employment, which is good. But if you take a look at the other four, you'll notice that those are all essential workers, meaning that they're not going to lose their jobs, they're not going to have their hours cut. As a matter of fact, they're probably going to see an increase in wages, and they're probably going to see their hours extended as well. So those are just some things to consider, and why I believe that it's not uncommon for us to see growth and appreciation in value, but also to sustain it long term. So why did home prices appreciate so much in 2020 despite everything that had gone on? What we found was that sellers were very hesitant to put their home on the market because they didn't want to invite people in for showings, walking in and out of their house. And they didn't want to be concerned with, where are we going to move to next? And is it safe for my family to move at this time? So what they did is they waited to put their home on the market until all of this passes, which caused a housing supply shortage. And with that, we saw that all the buyers who were in the market competing with each other right now were bidding those prices up. So much so that even though the appraised value was coming in short of what they agreed upon buying it, so let's say they agreed at $500,000 and then the bank goes in and says, wait a minute, this home's only worth $490,000. The buyers were paying the difference of that $490,000, $500,000 in cash, just so that way they can beat out the competition. And this is what caused home prices to increase exponentially in 2020. Another reason why I believe that home values increased exponentially in 2020 and are likely to continue in the future is due to interest rate affordability. We talked earlier about there being a very large buyer pool. A big reason for that is because people understand that if they're able to get a very low interest rate, and what we're seeing today is an average of about 2.5%. I'm sure you can get it lower or maybe higher depending on where your credit is, but on average you're seeing 2.5%. If you can get that over a 30-year mortgage, that's going to allow you to buy more of a house in purchase price than 12 or 18 months ago. And because of this, the buyers who are in the market are again bidding those prices up, because today you may be able to buy a house for $550,000, where last year, because of interest rates, we're only able to buy a $500,000 home. And according to the Fed, they don't have any plans of raising interest rates in the near future. In fact, we're talking about years in the future until they even consider raising interest rates to really stimulate that buyer demand and keep our economy strong. So on a federal level, I think that that will be consistent. And on a local level, because of the reasons mentioned earlier, I think it's going to be no different. So I know what you're probably thinking. How can home prices in San Diego continue to go up? How are people going to afford it? Ironically enough, CoreLogic, the real estate analysts, said within this very article that it ranks markets undervalued, normal, and overvalued based on income growth in comparison to home price growth. It only says that a market is overvalued if home price growth is 10% more of household growth in that region. Areas like Denver, Las Vegas, Miami, Phoenix, Washington, they were all ranked overpriced. However, San Diego was ranked normal because of gains in household growth pushed up by higher paying jobs. So as I mentioned, those 5 areas of employment, we're seeing consistent work history, but we're also seeing increased wages due to what's gone on and due to how we are adjusting and how those types of corporations or employers are having to adjust and pivot during these times. So I don't think it's uncommon that we see not only household growth, but we also see wage growth in 2021. Stay tuned. I'm excited to see what happens as well. But that's it, folks. That's all I wanted to share with you today. I am very excited as a real estate agent, coach, investor here in San Diego. It excites me to see that we can count on another year of a healthy market and that those of us who are homeowners can benefit from that equity growth, and we can use that to maybe pay off our debt, buy a second home, or maybe just take a vacation. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that this video was informative. Please like the video, comment below if you have anything to share or any questions. Please send it to a friend who you think would enjoy it. And lastly, please subscribe to my channel. As you can tell, it's new and I'm doing my best to grow. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.